Welcome to a new episode of Ausfahrt.tv in English here from Amsterdam, where it's windy and rainy. So next to me you see the new Volkswagen Touran. The first generation was introduced by Volkswagen in 2003 and they managed to sell 1.9 million Tourans so far. Most likely in Europe, but even in China the car is getting more and more popular. In March 2015 on the Geneva Auto Show they presented the second generation. That's the car I'm gonna show you today. And you can order it starting from April this year, and they think that they will deliver the first car to their customers in September 2015. I know it won't matter too much for your market, but just to give you an idea about the German car market. Last year about 47,800 new Touran got a license plate from their new customers, and in comparison to the competitors like the Opel Zafira, just 17,500 new cars. The Ford S-Max, just 10,000. The Toyota Verso, 5,500, or French guys, the Peugeot 3008 just got 2,400 new cars in Germany. So this baby right here is the most successful car in its class. You can order the Volkswagen Touran with 3 different diesel engines and 3 different petrol engines. So we have, concerning the petrol engines, we have a 110 horsepower engine that comes with a manual 6-speed, or you can choose a 150 horsepower TSI engine, and you can choose between the 6-speed manual transmission or a 7-speed DSG automatic transmission. And overall we have the 180 horsepower TSI engine that is automatically hooked to a 7-speed DSG automatic transmission. The diesel engines more popular in Germany, at least. We have a 110 horsepower diesel TDI, so you can choose between a 6-speed manual transmission or a 7-speed DSG. You have the 150 horsepower TDI that comes either with a 6-speed manual transmission or a 6-speed DSG automatic transmission. And last but not least, we have the 190 horsepower TDI, same engine like it is in the Golf GTD, and that is automatically configured with a 6-speed DSG automatic transmission. So here's the heart of our test car. It's a 2-liter TDI diesel engine with 150 horsepower. It's good for maximum torque of 340 Newton meters, and you get them in a range between 1,750 and 3,000 RPM. Our test car is equipped with a manual 6-speed, and of course we have front-wheel drive here. Please allow me to give you the basic facts about this car. So our test car, the 150 horsepower diesel Touran, accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour in 9.3 seconds. The top speed is reached at 208 kilometers per hour, which equals 129 miles per hour. The gas tank of the 2015 Volkswagen Touran is good for 58 liters, which equals 15.3 gallons. Volkswagen claims a fuel consumption of 4.5 liters on 100 kilometers or 52.2 miles per gallon, which means that under perfect conditions you can drive up to 1,280 kilometers or 800 miles without getting gas. The Volkswagen Touran has a length of 4.53 meters, which equals 178 inches, with a wheelbase of 2.8 meters, which equals 110 inches. Its height is 1.66 meters, which equals 65 inches, and from mirror tip to mirror tip it is 2.09 meters wide, which equals 82 inches. As of the turn radius, you need at least 11.5 meters of free space, which equals 453 inches. The curb weight is 1,552 kilograms or 3,422 pounds. The admissible total weight is 2,180 kilograms, which equals 4,806 pounds. Just a tiny remark, it's shitty weather. Besides that, I'm all alone because Toby is at home sick. He's laying in bed with a flu, so I have to work all with myself. I'm sorry for the framing of the picture and maybe some sound problems and all the rain. However, Volkswagen completely redeveloped the design of the Touran, so it's a complete new design. And if you're wondering, oh, I didn't recognize that, well, me either, you know. It's, well, it's like a big piece of furniture, and if you redesign it, it's still a big piece of furniture. Overall, it's a compact van. So yes, they changed a little bit. They wanted to look the car a little bit more sporty, a little bit more powerful, full of strength. And what they did, they used a lot of horizontal lines in the front, in the back, on the side to make the car look more sporty and powerful. However, the car got a little bit wider as well. It gained 4 centimeters in width, and besides that, it lost weight, 62 kilograms. Respect, my dear. At least in Germany, we have 3 different option lines. Excuse me. So we have Trend line, Comfort line, and Highline, the highest one, as the name says. And that's the line we are having right here. If you want to, if you feel that you have to individualize your car a little bit more, your Touran, you can take parts of the R line as well, so the sporty line. Besides that, it's always a key feature for me because I park my car at the street even in winter time. So you have a heated windscreen. So while it's freezing outside, all you have to do is press it, and after a few minutes it's de-iced instead of scratching. The headlights of the Touran got a little facelift as well. They are not as wide anymore, they're thinner. And as an option, you get them with full LED techniques, which includes cornering lights and so on. The new Touran did not only get wider, it got longer as well, 13 centimeters. And 11.3 centimeters of those just went in between the wheelbase. So we have a little bit more space for the passengers in the second row and optional in the third row. Besides that, they make the front a little bit shorter, about 2.1 centimeters. I'm not too much into design, you know, as you can tell. But I like to point out this character line right here. I just want to point it out. First of all, again, this horizontal makes things bigger, but I like how they made the handles kind of fade in there. Talking about fading in, it's the same color. The color is called Pacific Blue. In the German configurator, car configurator, this color is not available yet. At least I didn't find it. They give you the choice of 6 colors so far. Thinking about that, you can order the Golf, the Volkswagen Golf, in at least 15 different blue tones, you know. 6 colors don't sound too much. Okay, talking about the rims, the alloy wheels, the regular Touran, you know, in the trend line, option line, with the option line, trend line comes with 16-inch alloy wheels. The Highline, the line we are driving right here, comes with 17-inch, but we are having the 18-inch rims that you have to pay extra for. I'm sorry, I'm sort of out of words for the rear of a compact van. For me, they all look alike, but let me at least point out the horizontal lines I mentioned before already that are supposed to make the car look more powerful and sporty. However, we have a little spoiler on the roof. We have full LED rear lights. Besides, they come as an option in Germany, 235 euros. And we have a double exhaust pipe down there. All right. Okay, that's it from the outside. Now let's hop in the inside. Let me show you around the interior in the front row. As we know it from a compact van, it's easy to get in, even for old people like me. And I don't even have to reach out so far to close the door. And the door feels pretty light too. Okay, let me show you around real briefly, sort of. Actually, it's a 10-minute thing. However, first impression when I got into the car, it's a real Volkswagen. Once you know one of the current lineup, you know them all. I've had the Golf for 2 weeks now as a test car, so I'm pretty familiar with the inside. However, the Touran looks pretty much different. In the interior, it's just bigger. It's a compact car, but it gives me the feeling of very spacious seating here. I have no problems to the side. It feels like the passenger seat is far away, so I have, my own space. Since the windscreen is pulled down to the very front, it gives me, a lot of space to the front. I have no limitation in headspace. The seat is lower to the very bottom right now, but still, there's lots of space. And talking about the material they used here, we have soft touch material all over the dashboard as well on the doors here. Here's textile in the doors, so this feels well okay. We have high glossy paint, black paint right here. I don't like it too much, me personally, because you see all the fingerprints and all the dust quickly. But from the haptic feeling, it's nice. And we have even soft touch here, and here's hard plastic to the sides, but that's okay. All the positions that I don't touch can have material, I don't care, but everything I am touching all the time should feel good, and that's the case here. So that's pretty fine. Thinking about how can I handle this car. Once you've driven one Volkswagen, you know them all, so you have all the switches on the right place. The whole center console is facing me a little bit, which I like because I'm the driver. I have to have everything inside. Very well done. I'm very satisfied. So starting with our regular routine, you can adjust the seat belts in height so you have it on your shoulder where you want it. I'm showing you the seat belts here, so even people who like to eat a lot should have no problems buckling up with ease. Our seats here are just manually adjustable, so I can scoot in the very front, woo, and in the very back, and I can adjust them in height as well. And I have this little wheel to adjust the backrest, which I like. I hate this, this handles where you pull the handle and you fall back in the car. So I like these little wheels. The steering wheel is adjustable manually as well. And I think it's a fair radius. It could come out a little bit more towards me, I think. By the way, you can heat the seats as well as the steering wheel. Besides, it's just one button on the driver's side, so it makes you think you have to heat both things. But once you activate the heating, a little dialog comes up here and gives you the possibility to disable the heating of the steering wheel. I tested it out today in the morning. It's not really getting hot, just a little warm, so in winter time it might be fine. By the way, the steering wheel is coated with leather, and I have to confess I'm a huge fan of the Volkswagen steering wheels because they have just the right size. They're not too thick, not too thin, they just feel right, and I like this, little flat button. Besides, it's a multifunctional steering wheel, so we have all the buttons for the adaptive cruise control on the left side, and you can adjust the volume of the infotainment system on the left side. On the right side, you can navigate through the board computer and skip songs as well as activate the speech control. Yep. Looking in the mirrors are not too big, especially in comparison to the car. They are rather tiny and they have this, well, this shape, that might make people think it looks sporty. I'm not sure. I don't like them too much, but you see enough in the outer mirrors, and the inner mirror is not good for seeing the whole back window, rear window. However, you see the main part, and that's okay. Once you have people sitting in the third seat row with the headrest up, you can, forget about the inner mirror. You have to use both other mirrors because you hardly see anything through them. Okay, I'm turning my head around. Here is everything's fine. I hardly have a blind spot. Going the other way is fine. 2A pillar, B pillar, C pillar. The D pillar is pretty huge, but since they've put a little window in between the C and the D pillar, I think the blind spot is not too big. Besides that, as an option at least, you can order the rear camera. I'm a little bit disappointed because the Golf had a rear camera that was hidden in the back door and just pulled out whenever you needed it, so it was protected against rain and mud and all that. Here we have a static one, so it's just fixed here. The picture is nothing I would call awesome, but it's enough to, circle into your parking spot. Behind the steering wheel we have two classical round gauges. On the left side the RPM meter going up to 6000 RPM. The red range starts at 5000 RPM. Inside there's another little round gauge for the motor temperature. On the right side we have the speedometer up to 260 kilometers per hour. The car runs 208 kilometers per hour, so you have more than a little reserve. Inside you find the little round gauge for the gas tank, or the diesel tank in this case. In between the two round gauges we have a little display off the board computer for which has a size of maybe 5/8 of an iPhone display, and you can navigate through there, see all the relevant data while you drive, from your current speed in a digital way up to your reach, and everything you need to know. What I like is that you can disable any of those things I'm scrolling through here right now, so you can focus on the main thing you're interested in and you don't have to go through everything. Besides that, of course, you can enable, disable all the assist systems here. You have a different screen for the navigation system, which I like because here it's called MFA Premium, so you have a different kind of setup, and I think it's colored here and not in the regular version. However, if you have a turning signal, like the navigation system tells you to turn in the next 500 meters, you have a little gauge that is decreasing while you encounter the turn, and it gives you a good feeling. You sit in the car and the navigation system says, well, another turn left in 500 meters, and you're like, is this 500 meters, is this? And here you have a second control, and it works pretty neat. Besides that, audio, telephone, and so on and so on. Yeah, and I like it. I like the display and all the informations I get here. Besides that, you can read everything easily during nighttime as well as during daytime. Same as for the 8-inch Discover Pro infotainment system. Well, every once in a while, if you have the sun on the display, you wish it would have a little bit more contrast, but it's fine so far. My camera's getting wet. Okay, besides that, we have an ambient light in here. I haven't seen it yet because it was daylight outside all the time. You can order a huge, an XXL panoramic sunroof. It has a surface of 1.4 square meters even, so it covers the whole roof. And and we have a horn. So let me honk the horn. Let me hop through all the compartments here real quick, and there are many. Volkswagen claims you have up to 47 different compartments here to store stuff. So we start with a door panel as usual. This is half a liter bottle of water, and it's lost in the side here. So I say you probably can even store 2-liter bottles in here, at least 1.5 liter, and you still have lots of space. Next to the steering wheel we have a little compartment. I don't know what it's good for. Then we have a little slot right here next to the round gauge of the RPM meter with anti-slip surface, so you can put some coins in here. Well, shouldn't put coins because thieves might see them anyhow. Fading inside the dashboard is another compartment. You press a button and it's, you know, coated with textile inside, but it's pretty neat to have it over here, and you know, it's really fading in the thing. In front of the stick shift we have the next compartment, anti-slip surface on the bottom as well. Here we have a 12 volt outlet, the USB plug for the infotainment system, and a line in thing. So behind the stick shift we have first of all a big compartment, and if you push those buttons it transforms into a cup holder. But as you can see, this half a liter bottle, well, it's pretty thin and very long. So if I put it in here, it shakes around, and that's not good. But if you have wider bottles or cups, this might work fine for you. Behind the parking brake, there's another little compartment, good or big enough for the key at least. And we have the armrest here that is adjustable in 2 ways, and under the armrest we have another compartment. This is an inlay for a dustbin, a rubbish can, what do you call it, I don't know. Anyhow, so you have an anti-slip surface in here as well, or you use this thing and put some waste bin in there. However, right next here to whatever you call it, is a net, and in the press conference they told us it's good for a tablet, but since this is hard plastic here, I would have, you know, I wouldn't want my tablet go in here. However, the size of the net is supposed to be big enough for a tablet. Under both seats we find a drawer with a compartment where you can store stuff up to 1.5 kilo on each side. Here, this silver button opens the flap to part of the infotainment system, so you have 2 SD card readers, a SIM card slot, and a CD or DVD slot. And the gloves compartment itself is good for this stuff right here, and still has some place for a little bit more stuff. Here you can store coins as well, and a pen, and you can cool it down with the air condition. Yeah, getting my throat sore. In the roof we have a huge compartment for your shades, your sunglasses, and even for 2 different pair of glasses. And this flap here opens another compartment. I would rather say it's for the back row, but I just want to mention it here in the front as well. Both are with anti-slip surface. Sunshades, of course, here with a ticket clip holder, no, a ticket clip or a holder for your ticket, and a makeup mirror with a OK size, which is illuminated by an LED light. You have reading lights for the driver and the passenger, but if you want to read as a driver, the passenger seat goes on as well. Just the passenger has a separate light switch, and you can activate the lights in the rear as well from up here. Besides, we have handles on all 4 doors, and that's about it so far from the front. Well, look at this. That's what I call a huge door, and I have to get on my toe tips to look around it. However, I would jump in the second row now, and I like the big frame. It's useful because once you have the 7 seats, you want to climb in the back as well, and you need a big frame to climb into the car. So follow me, please. And so it's as easy as in the front, getting in the car, even, yeah, pretty easy. Door closes easy as well. All right, that's how I want a family car. You know, I'm 180 centimeters tall, so 5'11". The driver's seat is put so I can sit there very comfortable. And here I sit with my 180 centimeters and have lots of space. Not only head space, but look at this room that I have for my feet. I can, you know, even dance. And it's not only the seat on the side, but as well when I scoot in the middle, that's a full-size seat. And same here, I have still headroom, and I even have room for my legs, even if the center console is, you know, limiting it a little bit, so I can put them under the both seats. And that's really, I like that. Lots of space, 5 full seats here in the front. Besides that, you have Isofix things on all 3 seats, so you can buckle up 3 child seats here in the back. Besides that, you can scoot the seats back and forward 20 centimeters. So if you want to have more space in the trunk, you scoot them forward, or if you drive with passengers, you scoot them to the very back. Besides that, at least, I can check this out here too, you can put the backrest a little bit, just one piece to the behind. So if you sit in the back and you want to maybe sleep a little bit, or just, you know, help your back to sit in another way, you can lean back a little bit more. That's neat too. By the way, the locks of the safety belts are pretty stable, so kids can buckle up themselves with ease. And at least for the 2 kids on, or the 2 passengers on the outer seats, you have reading lights here. You have handles, I mentioned it already, on both doors here, with hooks right here at the handle and at the B-pillar for a jacket or whatever. Looking around, the compartment in the door panel is huge, so this bottle is getting lost here. We have a little tray table that folds up here. It's not like really stable, you don't want to work with your notebook on it, but still, you know, if you have a little kid, and since you can scoot forward the seat, you know, the kid can draw here, make nice pictures of elephants and so on. And by the way, if you ever have the chance to drive this car or sit in the back, don't press this with power. Here's a little switch. Learn from me, I made it wrong the first time. There's a little bag down here for magazines or whatever. Here are the air outlets. We have a 3-way climate control, driver, passenger seat, and the rear. And by the way, they introduced something called Pure Air Climate Control, so a new filter system. So whoever has problems with allergies, they invented a new system, so the allergy things go in the filter, they get a little coat, so they don't disturb you inside the car. And the whole thing is most likely made for China, where the pollution is bad or the air is not as good. And so at least in the car you have pure air. A side note, in our test car you can heat the 2 outer seats, which I think it's, you know, if I would be the middle kid, I would be pissed, you know. Okay, they have windows first, they have reading lights seconds, and they can heat their seats, and I can't. So what's the deal, you know? Anyway, okay, compartments still. I mentioned the reading lights. I think I'm done. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's fine. Oh, the windows. You have tinted windows. And look at this huge window folding down all the way. And we even have, of course, it's a Volkswagen, a protection so no one gets harmed. And last but not least, let me jump, well, crawl in the 3rd seat row. Well, for the 3rd row, you have a little clip here on the 2nd row, and you can easily roll the seat to the very front, so it's kind of easy to get in, but I have to bend my head. So folding myself on the seat and scrolling back, I have to use this handle again. So here I'm sitting 180 centimeters tall and I have no space for my legs at all. I put the seats in different positions. The very seat on the very right is put in a way so I can sit with my 180 centimeters still comfortable behind the passenger seat. And if I scoot over here, even if you don't see it, I can say, yes, I could sit here for a while. Not too long, maybe 50, 100 kilometers. This way I couldn't, and the one in the middle is put very much to the very front, and that doesn't help too much either, because no one can sit here then. So if you want to drive with 5 grown-ups in the back, so 7 all together, for a short trip this might work if none of them is taller than 180 centimeters. Otherwise, you should consider another car like the Touran or the T6 if you want to stick with Volkswagen, or you take someone else's van. We have reading lights for both seats here, and on the left side at least we have 2 cup holders and a little compartment, but that's pretty much it. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it, we have ISOFIX things here on the back seats as well, so we can store at least 5, well, not at least, we can store 5 ISOFIX child seats or baby shelves. The trunk of the Touran is good, at least if you only use 5 of the 7 seats, for 743 liters of luggage or 26 cubic feet. And if you want to get rid of the 2 extra seats, there's a little switch and they fold down automatically and you have the trunk that you need. Looking around, from Skoda, Volkswagen took the idea of a little flashlight that is magnetic and has an LED light source and a little battery inside, and you use it as well as a light for the trunk itself. Then we have a 12 volt as an option, a 230 volt 150 watt power outlet, and a rubber band on the left side. On the right side we have a hook. Here we have a little flap that we can open, and this is a privacy blind that we can put in here. Since when you have when you use this seat 6 and 7, you can't have it there, so it folds in here, and under it you even have the warning vest and the emergency rescue blah blah thing and the tire fit, while the warning triangle is right here in the door. Just measured for you. If you want to lift something in the trunk, those are 62 centimeters. Between the wheels you have 104 centimeters of space, and from the start of the trunk to the seats you have around 90 centimeters of depth. Of course, I can flip the second seat row as well. I have this leashes here, so it's easy to do, and you don't have to get the seats out of the car to get a little bit more space. You even get a flat surface to store your stuff. If you have fold down the seats in the second row, you have space for 1,857 liters of luggage, and you have around 170 centimeters of length. Okay, now fast forward, because we can flip the passenger seat as well. And if you do so, you can store goods up to a length of 270 centimeters in here. Well, it's starting to rain again. I packed everything in the car. You can store up to 703 kilograms or 1,550 pounds inside the Touran, and you can load up to 75 kilograms on the roof. If you want to pull a trailer, you can pull trailers with their own brake up to a weight of 2 tons with a Touran, at least if you don't go higher than 8%. Allow me to tell you some stuff about the experience I made while driving the new Touran with the 150 horsepower TDI diesel engine and the manual 6-speed. First of all, we all agree that this is not a sports car, it's a family van, a compact van, so no one expects really racing with this car. However, with this 150 diesel PS, I think you can even drive a little bit sporty. No, you don't want to, cornering hard on a track or anything, but in daily life, even if you have a curvy country road, you can indeed drive this car a little bit sporty without having problems. And I like that. The 6-speed manual transmission is just fine. The shifting ways might be a little bit too long, but actually they're not. Just, we all come from a sporty side, so we would appreciate a more sporty stick shift transmission. However, the transmission is very precise, the ways are precise, and you don't end up in any other gear than the one that you want. You have different driving modes you can choose from, so it's eco for efficiency driving, comfort, and normal and sport, as well as individual. Once you pick individual, you can choose or you can adapt the settings for the DCC, the dynamic chassis control, the steering, the engine itself, the ACC, and the dynamic cornering light. So most options have values for sport, comfort, and normal, or instead of comfort, eco. I'm a little bit disappointed about the DCC, the dynamic chassis control, because between sport and comfort, I don't feel too much difference, to be honest. Yes, a little bit. It's a little bit stiffer while driving in sport, and it's a little bit more comfort while driving in comfort, but the difference is not so significant. I would rather have the comfort be more comfortable and the sport be more sporty, stiffer, But for a daily driver, and keep in mind a family van, I think it's pretty much okay. And overall, you have to keep in mind the costs for the system. In Germany, you pay like 1,035 euros extra for it. The steering is just fine. It's direct. It's this progressive steering. So on the highway, you need more effort to turn the steering wheel than in the city, so it's easier to park and maneuver your car in a parking spot. The brakes are fine. All I can say, I hardly used them here. I didn't have to do an emergency brake, and I think for this kind of segment they work just fine and they're right. Concerning the sound, I think the Touran is a pretty silent runner. Depending on the RPM you use, you have no problems at all just having a normal conversation in the car. Even at 4,000 RPM, it's not really loud. All I could drive here in terms of speed was a 130, so I can't tell you about wind noises driving faster, but until 130 you hardly hear any wind noises. And just as a side note, it was pretty windy here in the Netherlands, and I had no problems with side winds whatsoever. I didn't notice any side winds at all. By now you can order all the assist systems from the Volkswagen company for the Touran as well. We don't have all of them in here, but quite a few. So we have this active lane keeping assist, which works with charm as we know it from other models. We have blind spot warner, a front assist, a side assist, so the radars are looking around when you park your car, you leave your parking spot with your car, it checks if there are any cars in your blind spot while backing up. And it's a nice thing too. I like the way the blind spot warner warns you because it's a bright light. If you look aside, you know, you don't miss it. And if you put your turning signal because you missed it, it's really flashing. So it gets in your face and it really warns you. I appreciate and like that. We have the Discover Pro, the premium infotainment system in here that comes with Mirror Link, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Apple CarPlay works with charm, that's all I could test because I don't even have an Android phone. However, I like how you can, you know, use a touchscreen, and the sound system itself, the speakers are not too exciting. I turned some music on really loud yesterday and turned it down again because the sound was not so exciting. I think it's fine for everyday use, even for listening to Spotify or whatever. But if you're really into music and you want to enjoy something, you might want to check for a premium sound system or look whatever the aftermarket is giving you. Let me sum up my impressions about the 2015 Volkswagen Touran with a 150 TDI and the manual 6-speed. I'm quite content about everything concerning the driving, steering. I told you everything. I'm content with this. I'm really pleased with all the space I have in the car and all the ways I can use the space, like do I only need 2 seats or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7? How much space do I need for my luggage or whatever I'm transporting? That was really pleasing me, and I like how much space you have. I like this real big windows in the back for the kids that they can look outside just fine. I would really wanted to see this panoramic sunroof, but they don't have it here. Overall, it's a nice car. I really like it. I always get asked, you know, compare it to whatever. I have problems with comparing, but since I drove the BMW 2 Series Grand Tourer lately, as well as the Ford S-Max, I might say the BMW's interior is much nicer. However, it's more expensive as well. Concerning the Ford S-Max, I think they are pretty much alike. You know, it's a matter of taste, which car you like more, which design philosophy, which interior way you like more. Both cars are nice to drive, offer you a lot of space, and you can adjust the space as well. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the comments. If you have any remarks, if you have experiences, please let us know. You know, other people would like to know as well, not only me. And if you like this clip, I enjoy seeing you sum up under our video, and I'm happy if you share it on your social networks as well. Well, I'm Mr. Z, I'm saying goodbye, and I hope to see you in my next clip.